Coach White here. We'll get right into questions. Anyone? There we go.
Oh,
You're
saving
almost
it,
out.
saving it to next week.
Right by the bell, Josh. You're almost out. You're up, bud.
Hey, Brad, I feel bad you showing up and not getting asked something. So it just, I mean,
No,
just
well, that'd have been okay. I've got, I had a birthday yesterday for the 7-year-old, and I've got my number 4 being delivered tomorrow. So, be good.
Oh, good. You got a lot more going on than football, obviously. Then, but how just wrapping things up? How are just how did things look this last time out here before you get game week going?
It was a good week. Guys, you can tell the guys are ready. They can sense it. The urgency's elevated. That they know they're into the single digits right now until kickoff time. So you can sense it. It was a good solid week. I think we got some good work in, and a good start on next week.
Good, and congrats too. I hope everything goes well tomorrow.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
John Hale.
Brad, you've got so many options in the secondary when everybody is available. Can you just give us a little bit of clarity? I'm not asking you to do the depth chart or anything, but just who exactly, how it breaks down safety versus corner, and who you kind of feel good about going into the season in that giant group out there.
Yeah, we're – again, without, sort of getting into the depth chart, I think you're going to see quite a few guys play and be on the field. And that's nice. We've talked about being able to have some depth out there, and, being able to have, as many corners, as that we have. And, to have even a young guy like Carrington Valentine starting to elevate here over the last, week or so just adds another guy into the mix. And I think Said and Fat, they're playing really well. And we've talked about a lot of guys and Eck and out there on the edges, and MJ. When you talk about safety, we've got a lot of different options there, and we're still trying to settle on which way we're going to go with that. But obviously Yusuf will be the leader back there, and feel really good about Ty and Quandre and Taj. So really all those guys are going to have to play for us and be ready next week.
Larry.
Yeah, two things for you, Brick. Could you talk a little bit about Devonshire and how he's kind of progressed from last year to this year? And then also, is there anybody on the offensive side that has kind of just caught your eye and surprised you, somebody maybe you weren't thinking about when you were going against them, would maybe jump out and do some of the things you've seen them do?
All right, so to start with MJ, MJ had a really strong camp last year, coming in as a true freshman, got to see some action there against Eastern Michigan, and then, hurt his wrist on that deep ball. And so it was a struggle sort of the rest of the year for him, trying to play with a cast on his wrist, and now having that off, him being able to just play has really helped him, play more confident. Again, he's a guy that we just need to see consistency on a down in, down out basis. But he can run, he can cover. He's still working through some of the technique stuff with Coach Clink, and but he's got a really big upside for us, and we're excited about how he has been moving along. And especially I feel like these last 2 weeks, he's really taken a step. As far as offense, to try to single out a guy, I think DeMarcus Harris has done some good things at wideout. That the offensive line is, those two tackles are really, really good. And obviously we know about Drake. jumped out. That's hard. It's the whole offense because they can get so explosive on a lot of different levels, and they can stress you with the system. Could I say Coach Grand? Would that
Yeah, that'd be good.
allowed? System-wise, every day our guys have to work, at every single level, and really, really impressed with Ali out there. His progression as a wideout from when I got here to where he is now. And obviously the stable of running backs we've got. Terry's looked really, really good. And, sort of the other quarterbacks, I think Bo's jumped out. Just, you don't see a true freshman quarterback that can do some of the things that he does. And it's really kind of impressive to see. So.
Thanks.
Derek.
Brad, going back to Carrington, he's a guy that he wasn't one of the most highly rated guys who got signed last year, but even going back to the summer, he was someone that people were saying, you need to watch out for this kid come fall. What is it about him that has maybe allowed him to make a push already this early in his career?
You know what? So much when you come in as a freshman, especially out on the edges, you have to have a confidence in yourself and a belief, in terms of, I can compete with anybody that's out here, whether you can or not, whether you're technically ready to play, from a fundamental standpoint. He competes, and he's got an internal fortitude, that junkyard dog mentality that he's going to keep coming over and over. Even if he gets beat, he's going to put the ball down and he's going to come back. And, a lot of times, young corners are a little bit afraid to mix it up, especially in the run game. And he's not afraid to come put, his pads on you, which is a good thing to see, because there were, even on his high school film at times, there were going to be there was a question mark at times, but he has come in with no fear. And he's extremely coachable. He loves ball. He's always watching film, and he's soaking up the information that he's getting. And that's all you can ask. And that's what's put him, with a chance to be able to play as a true freshman.
Derek, did you have a follow-up?
Yeah, I did. Last thing I have is just, I asked you a few weeks ago about those inside linebackers. Just now that you're pretty much done with camp, did Casey and Bembry make the strides that you wanted to see?
Yeah, both of them have made, again, significant strides. De'Aaron Jackson is another one, that is in that mix. And, all of them are going to have to play for us in some capacity. And we know about those first two, but they can't play every snap this year. And we feel confident that when Casey or Bembry or De'Aaron's number is called, they'll be able to go in, and they'll be more than sufficient. Now, are they any of the three, where we want them to be ultimately? No, they're still growing within that position, but they've taken significant strides, to give us comfort that when they go in the game, they'll be able to function.
John Clay.
Brad, obviously you were really good defensively in 2018. Last year you had some guys to replace and some young guys in the secondary. And by the end of the year, you end up being a top 25 defense as far as total defense. How much of a pride factor do you see in the defense that, hey, we're good, we're showing we're good, and we want to keep this going?
There's definitely a pride piece to it. And I think that's anybody on this team. Anybody that's a competitor has that pride piece. But we also know that years past, last year, the year before, those years are gone. We're a different team. We're a different defense. Do we have a lot of the same pieces? We do. Are we confident in our ability? Are the players confident in their ability and the guy next to them? They are. But every year is different. And every year you have to face new adversity and new challenges. And just because you look good on paper doesn't mean you're going to rise to those challenges and elevate. Now, do I have confidence that our guys are going to be able to? Absolutely. And there's no group that I'd rather go out to the field with. But we have to do that week in and week out. And we have to do it together. We're going to face adversity, new challenges, different teams, different offenses. And every week we're going to have to pull together when that adversity strikes and elevate. And I think we've got the guys to do it, but you never know exactly how it's going to play out until it happens. Numbers can be deceiving. You can be, statistically better, but you can ask certain coaches that there were teams or units or defenses that they thought were maybe not as statistically good, but they were in the situation, they were better. And what we need to do is not worry so much about statistics. The only statistic that matters is that we win on Saturdays. And that's all we care about. Whatever we need to do as a defensive unit to help the Kentucky Wildcats win on Saturdays, that's our only focus.
To follow up on that real quick, have you seen that mentality in camp? That sort of what the past is in the past. This is a new year. We got new challenges. We need to step up again.
Oh, absolutely. And again, you see it from when we compete against the offense, because every play is not a win for the defense. And there's been plenty of explosive plays that we have to get fixed. And again, I think the thing that we did well last year is we limited explosive plays. Regardless of whatever stat you look at, to me, it's how many points did you allow and how many big plays, because big plays, are momentum shifts, and we have to continue to focus on limiting those. And then when we have an opportunity to make a big play ourselves, we have to make it. And we need to make more, continue to limit the big plays like we did last year, but we need to create more big plays on defense than we did last year.
All right, we'll wrap up. Coach White with Jeff Drummond.
Hey, Brad, Eddie had mentioned Tuesday that you guys had kind of been slipping in a few things for them to give them looks at kind of what Auburn's going to be doing over there. What do you kind of expect from them with some of the changes they've had and some of those looks that you guys have to prepare for?
So the looks that we gave the offense, or you're asking about Auburn's offense?
Yeah, he had mentioned that you guys had tried to implement a few things, I don't know, just scout team or throughout, to give them a few looks already at what they're doing. And I was kind of curious what you're kind of expecting on the other side of the ball from Auburn. I know they've had some changes and maybe some new things coming in.
Yeah, I mean, obviously from, we were able to give, even though we may not run the same defense, there are certain things in each team's packages that can provide similar looks. So just to give, a full speed look, we can run some of what Auburn does on defense, and everybody does that across the country to try to get good on good, if you have it within your package. We have a fairly extensive package that we can pull from to give those looks. As far as Auburn's offense, they're extremely explosive, we'll probably talk about it next week, but, the wideouts, the running back, obviously, Coach Morris coming in there, with his experience, at all the stops that he's been, with Clemson and SMU and Arkansas, and then, mixed in with Coach Malzahn, they're going to have tools to work with and a really, impressive offensive system to operate out of. And so we're going to have plenty of challenges.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll have the players up here in just a few minutes.
Here's Coach Ruffalo's here.
Oh, Ruffalo here. Get